So we were out here on the range and we were just kind of reminiscing as I'm touching up this target plate. There's a story that I don't think that I told all of you, and I think that it's worth telling you because it really points to why we do what we do, the kind of business that we're running, and how we protect our customers and how we take care of people. So TA Target started back in 2015. Excuse my runs there. We started back in 2015 and the objective was pretty simple. We just wanted to make quality systems. We wanted to have our own business, do something different than average. But one of the principles that we operated with from day one was that we were just always going to stand by the customer. And we ordered the materials that we ran, usually from secondary suppliers at the time. But as TA Target started to really grow and really expand, we started purchasing all the steel from steel mills themselves. So we would basically have bulk steel orders from mills. We'd order 20, 30,000 pounds at a shot. And we would always spec a minimum of 540 Brinell hardness. And that worked great for many years. We would send our purchase orders into the mills. We would say, hey, 540 minimum Brinell hardness. That was the minimum that we accepted. This was all domestic material. And they would send us the certifications up front. We would be able to see, okay, these are the plates that we're receiving. And we would know, in theory, that the material that we purchased is the material that we got. And that 540 Brinell hardness rating was important to us because we were one of the only companies, if not the only ones, that had half-inch AR-550. Prior to what we were doing, nobody had half-inch AR-550. It was unheard of. It was a premium product, the only target system that was rated for rifles at 30 yards. You know, we really put it all on the line saying that. You can shoot rifles at 30 yards with our target. It requires a very specifically engineered system and a really high quality plate to be able to tell people that. So, long story short, sometime in around the 2018 year, so that would have been our third year in business, we started having some issues. And where we really saw it was out at Knob Creek. We were at the machine gun shoot. We always used to set our target systems downrange. We'd set a Goliath, we'd set some C-zones. We built these huge armored posts to try to protect the system and make sure that it could resist all of the belt fed, the Mod Deuces, any of the 30 caliber miniguns, other submachine guns. We would overbuild the systems to try to last for that entire machine gun shoot. And they never did, just between you and me. Till a minigun hit them, 30 caliber minigun would just rip them apart. It's just so much concentrated energy. And that's the part that's interesting. Basically what would happen is the target systems, the half-inch steel would stand up against the 50 BMGs for so long. And then eventually that Dillon minigun would hone in on those targets and it would actually stress fracture the target plates and eventually they'd crack and fall apart. But we'd never have bullets passing through. We'd never have rounds just zipping through the plates. But there was this one Knob Creek machine gun shoot that we brought out Goliaths, we brought out C-zones, and when we went down range to check them out, they looked like Swiss cheese. And we were standing there like, what the heck? Why did that happen? And we kind of wrote it off at first, like, I don't know, like something weird. Maybe they had different ammunition, maybe there's just different conditions. And we didn't think too much about it, but then we started getting the emails. So we had shipped out most of that run of steel. We produced it into targets, painted everything, assembled everything, did all the heat lot numbers, things like that, shipped them out to customers. And we started getting people emailing us saying, hey, these targets are wearing out way faster than what I would have ever expected. And this was before the days when we advertised a lifetime warranty. We just operated on this principle that we do business well. So that means if we feel like somebody's being honest, if what they're asking for is reasonable, we always said yes. We took care of the customer. Even if we didn't talk about it, we didn't make it publicly known, we just took care of people. But the moment that we started having one customer, two customers, three customers, four customers, an entire police department reach out, that's when we realized something's wrong with the material. And by then, it's a little bit too late because you have products getting shipped out, products manufactured. We ceased all production of the material that was left. Anything that was in inventory got into a reject pile and basically was wiped out and said, we can't sell that, it's not safe, we don't know what's going on. We pulled random samples from the lot that was left. We sent them out to third-party testers. And all of those tests came back that the mill had sold us material that was less than 500 Brinell hardness. And that Brinell hardness rating, it's a test that they do to determine the hardness rating of a piece of steel. The higher the number, the harder the plate is basically the basic geometry. There's way more of physics. There's different ingredients and compositions of steel. So that's not an end all be all statement. Steel can react differently with different hardness ratings. Even steel that says AR550, you have two different plates that are AR550. One could perform better than the other. That's a whole different topic for a different day. But all of the certifications that we received said a minimum of 540 Brinell hardness. Everything that was third-party tested was less than 500 Brinell. And some of it was as low as like 440, 470. And if you don't know this, when you spec AR500 from a manufacturer or AR550, there's a variance. Most AR500 steel will start around 470 Brinell hardness, and it can go up to about 530. If you have an AR500 plate landing at 530, that's great. It's actually almost into AR550 spec, but that is an abnormality. It's an anomaly to have AR500 consistently come in at 530. Almost everything I've ever handled on AR500 will be down on the lower end of that spec. So as soon as we saw that from the third-party testers, we knew we got screwed. We were lied to. We asked for a thing, it was like $60,000 in material, and they screwed us. They lied to us. So we kicked off the whole process of trying to work with them to get the plate replaced. They wouldn't do it. They would not take care of us. So we had a big decision to make. We're a newer company. We bought whatever, $40,000, $60,000. I forget how much steel it was. It was a ton of steel. And we had a decision to make. Do we do right by the customers? Do we just kind of say, nah, it is what it is. It's steel targets wearing out. It's part of the nature of the steel targets. What do we do? So we did not know whether or not we would ever get a chance to basically be redeemed with material. The only good news in this whole situation up to this point was we had net 30 terms with the mill, which basically what that means is we order the material, we send in a purchase order. The day that that material lands in our warehouse, in our shop, they bill us, but we have 30 days to pay that bill. So this had been happening within that window. And thankfully, we hadn't paid the bill yet. So long story short, what it came down to was we didn't know if we were gonna get new material. We didn't know if they were gonna force us to stand by paying that bill, but we took care of the customers. And it took me freaking forever to chase back through. Good news is we had heat lot numbers on every target system. I was able to reach out to every customer. Our systems weren't as robust as they are today. It took me so much time, but I myself manually went through everybody that ordered an affected product and I replaced it. We took care of anybody that was affected by this. They got to keep their other systems. Not every one was bad. They had certain sheets inside of that whole lot of plate that we ordered that were bad. Some were fine, but we replaced everything for everybody because it was the right thing to do. And that was a really scary moment when you're faced with a decision to do the right thing, but it could cost you everything. And I'm not saying that now to kind of boast or brag about it. I just think that it's an important story to remind you all why we exist. The vision statement for TA is inspiring individuals to become capable providers and protectors. That's first and foremost. The steel targets are great. I love manufacturing them. I love designing them, testing them, shooting them, seeing you all shooting them. But what matters more to me is that they are a tool that is helping someone like you to become a better, more capable provider and protector for those you love. So when somebody screws us and it screws you, I take it personally. I thought it was an important thing to note that I totally forgot to say. We don't use that supplier anymore. I think that's a really, really important thing. To this day, I will not buy material from them because of that experience that we had. It just left a really sour taste in my mouth. Maybe someday they can redeem themselves and we could work with that mill again, but we found a much better material. It kicked off this hunt where I literally searched the globe for the best material possible. We had all sorts of stuff coming into the shop that we were testing from a ballistic standpoint. And we ultimately landed on the material that we are running still to this day that allows us to offer that lifetime warranty on our 1/2-inch strike plates. You get a really long warranty. It's not quite a lifetime, but it's a really long warranty on the 3/8 material as well. And ultimately, that's what we ended up having to do. So kind of rounding out that story, ultimately, we never ended up paying that bill. We told them to go pound sand. We took that material and we turned it into things that would normally be made out of mild steel, used up the material for stuff like that, replaced all the customer products, everybody was happy, and most people don't even know about it. Most people do not know some of the struggles and the pain that you go through in a business as you're starting up. Doesn't matter how big you get, those situations always seem to pop up out of nowhere. You expect people to do what they say, sometimes they don't. And when they don't, it is always the move to take care of the customer, because at the end of the day, you didn't do anything. You trusted us to provide you a product, so we stuck our neck out, something that might have been able to kill the company at the time, frankly. I mean, that was enough money that they could have come back, it could have gone into litigation or something. They could have been like, no, you have to pay the bill because you got the material. It could have gotten messy. But they quietly, and I guarantee they talked about it inside closed doors with their whole finance team, they quietly let that invoice just disappear. There's probably just a dead, bad invoice on their books, but they never came back after us for payment. We sent them a letter and just said, we're refusing to pay because we have proof from third parties that you screwed us. So I don't know what that means to you guys, but ultimately, I really do care about you. Our entire team cares about you. This isn't just about making targets to build up a big business. This is about equipping you with tools that are safe. I care about your safety. I care about your training, and I care about making an excellent product and taking care of my team as well over here. So curious what you guys think of that story. Let me know down in the comment section. If you're running any of our steel targets, let me know. We've got people that have the original 2015 OG systems still rocking them today, which I think is insane. We've got thousands of people that are buying these targets every year, which is humbling. I'm super grateful for all of you, so I just appreciate you. See you next time.